Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to another Last Epoch dev stream. As always, I'm your host, Mike. Hello, there I am. Look at me. Hanging out, playing some Last Epoch, having a good time. We're just enjoying our Friday. We're starting off a new character. I been playing my rogue a bunch on stream, and I figured, you know what? Let's mix it up a bit. Let's start a Sork. I'll probably do bunch the leveling process offline. Well, off stream. But you know, I figured just start things off right away with this today. If this is your first time here, welcome. Thanks for joining us. I am one of the senior developers on this game that I'm playing right now, and I'm here to answer your questions. We always stream for charity. Boom, there's a charity of the month above my head. All of the proceeds of everything go from the stream go to that. Yeah. If you have any questions, please put at Last Epoch Game in the questions so I see it a little quicker and a little clearer, and I'll be happy to answer it. I do see we're starting off with a question right away, and it's a doozy. It's a doozy. Thank you, Tooltip. Yeah, so the question here is, knowing that this probably cannot be answered, I was told that the new content will follow the 0.08x speed, about 3 to 4 months intervals. I think that's what it was, but I mean, roughly in that range, whatever that range was. Let's see, I've got level 1 stuff. And the leak. Target release date at the end of the year. Yeah, there was a leak on chat that someone said something to that effect. That was the goal. We'd give 3 content updates. If it was right at the end of the year, it would. If it was right at the very end of the year. The closest, I think because we did April 9th was the patch, right? Or was it March 9th? It was March 9th. Oh yeah, I guess it could be like right at the end of the year, and there'd be that many, yeah. Could you share, are the expected contents, or if the content for those updates have some definitions internally? Yeah, I mean, so we do have, yes, we have a list of, hey, these are the things we want to get into the next patch, and here are the things that we have to absolutely have by 1.0, and here are the things that we'd like to get in as soon as possible, if we got time. So we kind of have definitions for what that means, and I know I only mentioned one patch in between now 1.0, but that's just because we're not 100% sure how many patches there's going to be yet, even. So please don't read into that too much, because I don't even know how many patches there's going to be between now and 1.0. Gotta get Elemental Nova. Come on. So close. Yeah, so that's I guess the closest I can come to giving you a real answer for that. Oh, Elemental Nova's not 3 anymore. What? I need that. Any plans on adding trading soon? Well, if you reference the forum post, there's an item factions announcement that came a little while ago. That has the details on what we're looking at for trading. So if you want details on what that's going to look like, that's where you should go to see that. As for the time frame for that, we don't have a set time frame yet. I'm sorry. Alright, what is the design philosophy around having all dots be stackable, so you have to spam them to do damage? Just feels like playing a hit build. Well, not all dots are stackable, and not all stackable dots are infinitely stackable. The core, I guess, the core damage dots that most people rely on for damage, so ignite, bleed, poison, and and that ilk, yes, those are infinitely stackable. I guess I'd be curious to know what the alternative would be, right? Like, if you're like, what's the difference in having 200% chance to apply one ignite, or like 200% chance to apply ignite, so 100% chance to apply 2 ignites, or 100% chance to apply a double damaging ignite? Like, what's the difference really, right? Except one of them has a bigger number that shows up at the top of the screen. Let's get ourselves just some health and mana. Eight months left in 23. Yeah, I guess that's what I was trying to figure out, how long it had been since the last patch, to figure out where it could land if we were like as tight to the ground as possible. Hey, you mentioned there it is. Oh, level, give me some AoE, please. I can just do chain. Should we just do chain lightning? Just go down and get chains. Hey, you mentioned a few weeks ago that Tempest Strike is having a general fantasy change. No, sorry, I meant that I don't know if I said fantasy. The fantasy, I want to keep the same, but the purpose, the functionality slot, the role it plays in your build will be changing, is the primary thing. And I don't really have any more info other than that. It's going to become a more it's going to become a stronger ability, like a slower, heavier hitting ability than it is now. Dahariel got that 2-year resub. Was that our first 2-year? That might have been our first 2-year. If that's our first 2-year, congrats! Woohoo! That's great. That's very cool. I don't know if that is or not. Oh. Either way, thank you. Congrats. It's a big number. All right. I'm sure this has been answered multiple times. That's all right. Happy to answer it again. But will the online mode characters carry over into release? Yes, this has been answered quite a few times. But so we don't plan to do any deleting, any character deletions, anything like that. We're gonna be we're going to be probably what's called starting a new cycle. Oh, apparently I'm tired today. We're starting a new cycle at 1.0 launch, so there will be like a new ladder, and new content dropping obviously at the same time for everyone. And so like the characters you have currently won't be able to play in the competitive environment of the ladder, but will still be playable with all the same content and everything. So it depends how intrinsic you feel being able to have the character on the ladder is to the ability to play or not. So some people would argue that just having a new ladder start means that you're deleting all the old characters. We'd be moving them to a standard environment, to borrow a term from BOE, but it would be it's hard to define some of these things, because in some people's eyes that just means you're deleting the characters. But we're not actually going to delete the characters, if that makes any sense. They'll still be playable and functional, all that sort of stuff. Unless there's some horrible thing that goes wrong and we have to delete them to save a major bug from happening. Hopefully not. Yeah, one melee smack in there. Gotta get it in there, you know? will you be adding seasonal mechanics? And if so, will they remain in the game after the season is over? Yes, we'll be adding seasonal mechanics, and we do plan to leave them in the game after the season is over, especially at the start. So this is one of those things that, like, this might change as we get into, like, a couple years from now, that sort of thing. But the primary mechanics that are happening in the like seasonal mechanics that are launching, cycle mechanics that are launching, are designed to be integrated directly into the entire game right away. And a lot of this has to do with just us wanting to expand the core content of the game more. 1.0 is kind of a kickoff point of where we feel the game is like, here's a full experience that we've created. Here's like a full game that someone can pick up and play, and if they finish it, awesome. But that doesn't mean we're done with it. That means that we're pleased with the framework we've created, and we're ready to start adding more and more content for a long time to come. And especially early on, there's a lot of things that we really want to have part of that 1.0 launch. Like, if I could wave a magic wand, I'd add another 80 features to 1.0, you know, but there's just not enough time for that.
Bless Eterra's name.
So we've got to take some time, especially in the early cycles, to be adding content that we really expect to stay long term. But it is possible that after a little while, maybe we start experimenting with features that maybe aren't permanently always there. So it's sort of a very long term thing, maybe not, but at least initially, yeah. All right, hello, how you doing? I hope you're doing good today. Oh, thanks. I hope you're doing good today too. Since you threw the old Room Master idea in the bin, did the design team already sketch the principle of this new mastery? Yes, we do have quite a bit of stuff for it already. We've been working on it, putting in all sorts of stuff for it. It's getting there. It's gonna be sweet. Okay, we're gonna move this to here because I don't want to press that button as much, and we're gonna move this to here. Yada yada yada. Fair enough. Okay, whatever. Okay. Yeah, we do. We got lots of stuff for it. We're I actually was looking at some prototypes for some of the skills yesterday. They look pretty sweet. Very sad we won't have buff debuff spells with Golem Summon on the SAD, but I'm happy the mage got a third mastery nonetheless. It's gonna be cool, don't worry. Don't worry. From the streams, there's an idea that each class will interact with minions in a unique way. Acolyte sacrifices and does care about minions. Primalist cares a lot if the minion lives. Sentinel, the minions are extensions of their equipment. Yes. Would this be the ideas for mage and rogue minions? Will Falconer be the only minion on the rogue? I mean, so the Falconer already has minions. Well, a minion really. So Ballista is already a Falconer, rogue minion. It most well synergizes with the Primalist. I'm sorry, with the Marksman, and the Falconer will. It's not really a standard minion, in the sense of how most minions. Like if you were to gather all of the collective features of every single minion in the game currently, and we're like, okay, what do all these things share in common? There'd be something that they all share in common that the Falconer doesn't have, the Falcon doesn't have. So it's a little different than the other minions in the game, but it's definitely a you'll be able to scale your damage with minion damage still, if you want. You don't have to, but if you want. Oh, that was a bad snap freeze. And mage minions are few and far between, if any, right now. There's teleport has mirror images. I think that's it.
Eterra, watch over you.
Yeah, I think that's it. Alright, the alternative to stackable dots would be a different play style where you can be more mobile, but also have to do lower actions per minute for people who each of their hands play PoE. So this is back to the dot question we had a little while ago. What does that look like? How do those abilities work? I don't think there's a clear distinction for the core of how those abilities function. Like unless it's a channeled ability. So yeah, like disintegrate. There's a dot that that does that. Warpath. Channeled dots. I think that's the answer there. Please let's put a spell on left click. There's something that's either is that not get pushed out? Uber attack. Thought this was working. Yeah, it's working. Yeah, I'm just left clicking here. Definitely can do it. Magic. I did it for you. No problem. Alright, how's the new set item mechanic testing going? Hasn't even been started yet. We've got a note from a meeting saying like, oh yeah, we're gonna try that. We'll set that up eventually. No one has started on it yet. Please don't forget to put at Last Epoch Game in your questions so I see the question. How tall am I in bananas? Depends how big the bananas are. So like anywhere from like 1 to 1,000 really. Gotta get to this off left click because I hate having that there. Better boots. Oh, alrighty then. Question here: will you plan to change the respec system for the skills? No. Wouldn't it benefit the game if you can respec skills for free instead of leveling again? Nope, because right now I have to level all the time I want to switch builds. Yes. Any plan on releasing a roadmap for 1.0 release announcement? I'd really like to get something a little bit more transparent pushed out. We don't have anything specific prepped at the moment. But I think once we have it, I think once we're a little more solid on when that's going to happen, what's going in for it, and like even just how many patches are between now and launch, it'll be more likely that we could add something like that. About the minion, I was wondering more, what is the design concept for minion, the mage, and rogue class? What makes them unique to the other classes? Well, I mean, mage doesn't really have minions, so that's what's unique to mage class. And rogue is also very light on minions, and the one primary minion that it is going to get, the falcon, is... I can't really say this because it's not something we're ready to quite share yet on exactly how it's going to work, but the way the falcon works is it's yeah, I don't know if how in depth I can go to how the falcon's actually gonna work. It's gonna feel different than most other minions. It's gonna be mechanically unique. You'll have more granular control over the falcon than you do other minions. There's the headliner there. All right. Will Rune Master have any defense nodes, or skills? Yes, to both those questions. Sork feels impossible to survive at higher corruption regardless of build. Well, it's funny because I frequently get feedback that there's a specific node on Sork that is a defensive node, which is completely overpowered right now. So check it out. Rich leather-bound books. zap, 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 zap. My dupe sucks. You, sir, are a jerk face. That's right, I went there. Alright, I'm constantly seeing people, especially on Reddit, suggesting things you've already said you have planned or will not do. I'd like to see an updated roadmap or something that we can point people towards. Yeah, it's hard because there's with the things we've said we won't do, we're not going to put things we've said we won't do on a roadmap, like just like we're not going to do these 4 things type thing. That's not the sort of stuff we're looking to put on a roadmap, really, if we were to do it. But I do think a roadmap is a really good tool. I do agree that the roadmap is a really good tool for especially new players who aren't, or maybe even returning players, just people who aren't sitting and reading everything every day, that sort of stuff. Like a one-stop shop infographic where they can get the up-to-date information on what's relevant for them. And looking at it that way, it is a really useful tool. Give me that. Let me do this. This minimap spot needs something that shows it's blocked. Because like every time I see people, they come up here and they start to like, because it's showing the map for this bridge, but it looks like it's showing you that like, hey, you can go in this door, but like the doorway is this here, not this here, and it's just like, it's just confusing to people. See it all the time. Glacier. I mean, that'll do the trick, won't it?
Fools.
Fools. Fools! Well, I'm the fool because I've made Lightning Blast not free to cast, so I can't use it while in him. That's a dumb Mike mistake. I'm the 1% of players who prefer playing with a controller versus mouse and keyboard. I think it's more than 1%. But yeah, that's fine. Any plans on enhancing controller support? Yeah, we'll have proper full controller support by the time we launch.
What brings you here? Eterra's grace be with you.
What were those? What was it? Mana, minion damage. Bye. Vitality shard, nice. Any hint at future dungeon mechanics rewards? No, there's nothing. We don't have any dungeon mechanics, dungeons specifically in the pipe right now. So there's nothing that's like coming soon or anything like that in the dungeon category. So there's not much to share there. Get these health potions, because otherwise I'll be in trouble. Ooh, what's this? Ooh, what's this? Ooh, what's this? Okay. Yep. Do it real quick. I mean, better than not, but yeah. Ellie Res. There we go. There's some boots for us. Alright, next question. When you introduced me to the game? For all the hardcore players, they've called me and are bugging me about it. So any plans to have as an active part of the game? When you introduced me to the game. When for all HC players, they have called me and are bugging me about it. So any plans to have as an active part of the game? I'm gonna figure this one out. This is like a puzzle. Oh, the name's logout macro. Oh my gosh, I didn't even look at the name. Okay, I got it. Yes, I'm with you. I'm with you. I understand. There's nothing on the books to change the way it is now. I mean, part of playing in hardcore is not getting yourself into situations like that. You need that, you know, like you bite off more than you can chew, and you pay for it, right? Isn't that what it is? Like it feels kind of I don't know, missing the point if the most powerful defensive mechanic you have in your arsenal is Alt F4. And maybe I'm just completely wildly off base there because I haven't played hardcore in a few years. I used to play some D2 hardcore, not much.
Keep them off me.
Throw mana strike here so I can get mana back if I need it.
Only a little longer.
Zap. There we go. Alright.
That's it. Go on. I'll be right behind you.
Can't believe how long it took me to get. Oh. Okay, without my text sounding like I'm drunk, do you have any plans to add an active version of me in the game? It's like the next thing, I just like didn't move on. Did sound a little like you were drunk. Alright. Any shaman rework teases? No, sorry. Got nothing like that for you.
You elder, I have every please.
Drink lots of water, everybody.
Have him return here before something terrible happens. We have little time. Please find Panium.
What?
I love this. So like Urza, spelled with a U, which is a whole other story. The lore master just had no idea this was a thing when he was making this character at all, and I hadn't seen it written for a long time, so he just kept calling it Urza. And I'm a huge Magic player, so like, oh, there's something in my eye. Oh, so the characters are pretty different. Like Urza in Magic, I mean, they've both got a dark side here as well, but he's kind of a bad dude in Magic. He's a good guy, but he's kind of a bad dude. And here he's like a bookie.
Go on then.
Gold won't save you. The blade might. Good luck out there.
And then you gotta like, you got the gambler being like overhearing you and. All right. It increases ward. Yes, I'm aware. Ward is the paper armor. Yeah. 10k plus ward still gets you one shot. I mean, ward's fantastic. Well, I don't understand how ward doesn't help protect you against one shots. We're just loading up on health and mana here. We're gonna get lots of both. Thanks for the replies, and by the way, really enjoying new icons. My skeletons are looking dappers. Yeah, I really like the new icons. We're gonna need the ledger because the these gloves are so nice to level with that you get from Urza. So nice to level with. If you're playing an elemental based character, just wonderful. Come on. Come on. Yeah, it's gonna be better no matter what, isn't it? Yeah, it'll be fine. These things. Hello! Hello. And hope you have a nice Friday night. I was wondering if you have ever had some sort of potion radius pickup on affixes or gear. This will help a lot for some builds, so you don't have to run around and try and run over them. So they all have a radius that you can pick them up from. It's pretty short. If you're asking for auto pickup, no. Coming from PoE, will there be any big pinnacle bosses like Cirrus or Maven? Yes. Loving the game so far. Yeah. You know it. Is there just like negative mana? Just want to drop this back down. Yeah, I think we kind of just got to go there. But we'll go here first. Just because those additional chains are really nice. We're actually going to leave this way. With respect to the roadmap question, maybe something like a dev philosophy post or FAQ. I mean, there is an FAQ that has a ton of stuff in it, and I would say 80% of the questions that get asked are answered in the FAQ. So, that's already there. And it's not hidden. Like, it's exclamation mark FAQ on like every platform. Even in here, it'll link you to it. I think it's the top post on Reddit. You know, like there's people don't read the FAQs. Never have, never will. Any plans to add secret hidden areas or chests to existing future tile sets similar to Grim Dawn? So like there are a ton of secret hidden areas in the game already. So yeah, it's there, and we'll probably be adding more of them. I know the lead level designer loves to add things like that. I didn't even put those on. Whoops. I know he loves to add things like that. So yeah, there'll be more, I'm sure. I love that fracturing mod. Big fan. I think this is the right choice. I mean, I could do something like Glacier, but we're gonna need this at some point. I'll probably switch that for Teleport when it gets unlocked real soon. Finish that off. Alright, sweet. Come on. Let me through. I want this shrine. Mana regen and CDR. Fools. Fools. You know what we're gonna do here? Mage level. I started playing on a test that we did recently. Yeah, let's. Sure. Yeah, alright. Yeah. Uh-huh. Big ups, right? All right. Yeah. There's lots of secret hidden areas in the game. I would take a, if you haven't seen a bunch already, I would take a little closer look around and see what's there. Any information on metrics of which class mastery is played the most, which skills are used the most, or things that you could share? No, I don't have anything like that. I'm sorry. Sorry. I don't even know what this isn't a like. Oh yes, I've got these numbers right here. I don't want to tell you. It's I do not know where those numbers are if they exist. Judging from how polls go and what I see talked about a lot, I would suggest that Acolyte and Rogue are probably the top 2 played classes, with Sentinel being a close third, I think. There are quite a few Primals as well. I think Mage is the lowest right now. I could be wrong about all that though. That's Mike's metrics. Mike tricks. Are there any plans to add a map icon for exalted drops like unique and set speed farming kind of slows without? There's kind of a bigger solution required here, I think, as like just a an upgrade to the loot filter system in general that probably needs to have more options when it comes to minimap icons in general. I think there's probably room for having some customization there. We don't have anything planned at the moment, but something's got to be done with that. Because yeah, there's a few features that are kind of missing there that we'd like to get in if we can. Boop. Oh. Thought he was closer to dead than he was. It's embarrassing. Good there. Any plans for servers in South America? There are lots there already. I tried to play the game last week and got put into a US West server. Yes. 1 second delay between attack animation input and arrows actually firing. It was unplayable. Yeah, so there's right now there's no manual server selection. We are planning on adding manual server selection. I know someone's working on it right now. Once that's in, you'll be able to pick where which server you're connected to, so it won't be a problem. Right now what it's doing is it is actively polling each server region when you first connect, and putting you in the server region that is has the lowest ping from that polling session. Now you might say, well, that's insane. Obviously South American servers will have a lower ping because I'm in South America. There must be a bug there. Well, kinda. Turns out the type of polling that we were using can be frequently. Speaking of hidden areas, there we go. Haha, that's lucky. That is not guaranteed to happen, by the way, at all. That's funny though. And oh, so often there's a shrine there. So the polling happens, and we look at the polling results. It pings all the servers, and we take the one with the lowest ping and set you there. Now, we have extensively checked this, and it is in every case correctly placing you in the server that returns the lowest ping in that check. Now the problem is that the type of ping check that it's doing, there are many situations where that type of traffic can be basically deprioritized, and in some cases you'll have some of those checks happening, giving you significantly worse results than is real because they're just not happening as fast as they can. So this results in people sometimes consistently getting put into the wrong server region. So yeah, we're changing the way that the polling happens to automatically pick which server region you should be going into, and at the same time we're also adding in a manual server selection. So even if it does put you in the wrong one, you'll be fine. Are you guys adding more in-game content or just working on characters with changes with monos? So for 1.0 there won't be any like new category of endgame system. So what I mean by that, I would say dungeons are a category of endgame system. Monoliths are a category of endgame systems. The arena is a category of endgame system. There won't be a fourth category of endgame systems at 1.0. We do have plans for more categories of endgame systems coming, like post 1.0. But for 1.0's, if you've never read that pop-up, by the way, you should stop and read it. There's actually good information there if you're a new player. I do love that knockback, but did we get teleport? Yeah, we did get teleport. Okay, I'm just gonna boop, 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 boop. We're going this way because I love teleport. Yes, I do. Yeah, it's the good stuff. That's the good stuff. Yeah, come join me in this boss fight, guys. More the merrier, right? Okay, next question. Endgame change models. Oh yeah, I also would suggest that a really high quality change, a low volume high quality change could be more cost effective in the time to in general enjoyment increase. Available, like with just like a change to the monos could have a bigger impact on the overall quality of the monos and the endgame systems in general than adding in a new system would. Because there's the monoliths are great. They've got some issues. Let's be clear, we're well aware they've got some issues. What cube recipe do you need to summon the Judd leaks? What is it? A ruby, an am, a rare, or a magic amulet? No, it's sorry. Gloves, am, ruby, jewel. Is that blood gloves? Might be an Ort rune. You guys don't like my leaks? My leaks are good too. Come on. Question check. Can I try this game? Yeah. It is available on Steam right now. Will the Steam Deck be verified at some point? I think it's very likely that we will look to have official Steam Deck support at some point. It's not a 1.0 priority for us. I do know that there are lots of people that have been playing with Steam Deck with surprising success already, considering we've done literally nothing for it at all. But yeah, it's still one of those, like, it's an extra platform. We don't have time to be adding an extra platform to our testing regimen as we're making patch releases, things like that. But it will be I think a popular platform going forward. And so I'd like to see more more support for it in general. On a previous stream, it's never good when this question starts that way. You mentioned a dev having a good idea for a way to change Tempest Strike. Are you moving forward with reworking the skill and its tree? We have decided that we will move forward with that change to it. However, we do not have a. It's not in the list of next things that are being worked on for skills. The current skill focus is on masteries. Affinity / artifact construct character confirmed for the future. Is that must be when I was talking about Urza. Magic Urza and Epoch Urza are the differences or the similarities pretty well end at the way you pronounce their names. That's where the similarities end. Let's just go. Crazy idea here. Will the falconer control the falcon using potions, food, streets? That's a cool idea. No. Last week you weren't sure, but are the chapter 1 to 3 we were coming next patch? I don't know. I don't think it's 1 to 3. I think the initial batch is just chapter 1, but I could be wrong on that. Oh yeah. I don't know. I think there's something coming soon. Honestly, I haven't seen it, so I don't know. But I know it was like on the maybe list for 0.90 anyways for a long time, so I feel like it's got to be getting close, you know? Oh, apparently that counts as in the lava. That's still in the lava. Sorry if this is a common repeat. That's okay. But is there any kind of timeline on revealing what the new mastery classes? Well, the new mastery classes are the Falconer, Warlock, and Rune Master. Like details on like what abilities they're gonna get and things like that. No, I don't have a timeline on that. Sorry. You'll probably see details on that like leading up to 1.0, like because that's some pretty that's some hype content, you know, like that's sort of those details on like exactly what's gonna be showing up and like skill names and you know like node previews and things like that will probably be a little bit closer to 1.0. We're gonna go this way to pick up this so we can still use it when out of mana. We're coming this way. Oh my goodness, crafting. What's that? Lightning damage. Yes, yes. Mana. Can we summon anything? Nothing. That lightning deeps. And cast speed. Just awful. Can we melee damage? Sure. Let's just slap some of that on there. Alright. Disintegrate. Generate itself pretty quick. Alright, I know this has been asked a lot, but don't remember the answer. Is there any plans on change how to get idle slots in the 15 passive points for all characters? No. And any way to skip the story and go direct to the end game like Diablo 3 where they have an adventure mode? No. We do, like, we're going to be adding more dungeons as time goes on. That will allow you to skip chunks of the campaign easier. You can also just get into a party with someone and they'll take you to endgame, and there you go, skip the endgame, done. Was that part of that question? Yeah, passive points and the idle slots. We don't have plans to change how that's unlocked. Oh yeah, we do want to change a little bit how the dungeons work, especially at like low levels and early versions of them, so that you can use them more as a skip easier, because every dungeon is a campaign skip as well, for a good chunk of the campaign, like a couple chapters. And then there's also we'll be adding more dungeons as well, so you'll be able to like skip through the campaign if you're very experienced with, like, if you're just like a really experienced player, being able to jump through the campaign a lot faster using dungeons. So that experience will be better overall, I think. Can you please add a clock with the local system time in the top right corner? Yeah, it was there and it vanished, and it's I'm sure it's on someone's list to add back in. It's there and offline. Hello, what about the Forge Guard bug missing quest objective, the boss not spawn in monos? If you've got any questions or about bugs or reports you want to make about bugs, please put those on the forums, and you can check to see other people's experiences with them there as well. I have no information regarding bugs or the status they're in. Oops, wrong way. Are there any updates coming where it'll be easier to understand and see damage numbers? For example, pure damage instead of DPS, or better median damage representation. The damage tooltips are I agree, they're not fantastic. It's a pretty low priority thing for us right now to be doing significant updates to that. Minions still need to have some sort of information there, because right now it's basically just nothing, which is not great. I would put that in the long-term goal category. Are there any? Is there any plan in the future to have search reward option for echoes? We haven't talked about this recently. We did very intentionally not add that in the initial versions. I know that my mind has been changed on that one recently, but I don't know if that's something we'll end up actually bothering with or not. Is it bothering like it's a huge problem? This amulet's got some legs to it. Yeah. All right. I love Mike Leaks, but Judge has increased quantity affix. Judge just can't get in trouble from anyone, so he can do it. He can leak anything. Is there a fix for making loading faster when playing with friends? It's not up yet, but we are working on it because it's a big problem. Oh, I missed one! I missed two! My goodness, I'm the worst! Espo Lou, thank you for the sub 40 minutes ago. And Girthwagon, thank you for the sub 8 minutes ago. I'm blind. I'm getting pinged here. Let me make sure this isn't something for the stream. Nope. Quick update from an earlier stream where I touch on the fact that the party invite isn't the front layer UI. It is in fact hidden behind all other UI windows. Did you bring that up at HQ? No, I never bring up anything that gets mentioned on the stream. You have to go to the forums if you'd like anything to be looked at. Out of all classes you have played, which is your favorite? Rogue. Oh, and there's a typo in the Saber-Tooth tree which refers to Saber-Tooth Toff in one of the top right notes too. Well, you should go to the forums. You know where to go.
Stay back.
Panion? Oh no. Looks like you've got a little something there. Let me help you with that. Probably shouldn't stand in those. Nah, I did that bad. Okay. I want to get a question here, but I don't want to die. Alright. Any timeline for when supporter packs will be reintroduced? Sorry if you've been asked. I don't have any specific timeline on that. I'm sorry. I'm still shocked it hasn't been added back in. At this point, like, might be waiting for next patch even, which seems crazy to me, but maybe. That's right, I walk out of those instead of teleporting. Is there going to be a fix for the fragment of the Enigma issues when Spark Charge scales with mana instead of intelligence level game? I think that it's was changed to intelligence, but the tooltip wasn't updated or something like that. I think that's all that happened. Maybe it's the other way around. I'm pretty sure the functionality is right and the tooltip's wrong. I think. I don't remember though. It's one of those two. This is another one of those things like I don't have any information on bugs. They'll get fixed when they get fixed. If you want info on their status or what's going on with them, the forums is the only place where there is information on them. Any chance for there to be a node to attach Storm Totem to your character and have it last quite a bit longer at the cost of damage? Shaman Lives Matter. No, I also don't think that node would get taken very much. I think that would be a relegated to the pointless node category. Every node that has reduced damage on it has to be like without some other effect that dramatically increases damage at the same time for a net gain is like completely ignored. So like if there's a node that says like you deal 25% less damage but this hits twice, so in reality it deals 50% more damage total, like that can have a less damage on it because it's actually a more damage at the end. But anything where it's like less damage and here's a mechanical change to it, like a convenience change to it, they just get ignored. They just straight up get ignored. Oh hey, well ain't that the perfect little idol to start us off with, huh? Take it. enemies. I like lightning. I guess, like, we're going lightning, I think. Maybe we'll do maybe this is gonna be a lightning meteor, Sork. We do lightning meteor.
Greetings.
That'd be fun.
Do not dwell on regret.
What are your plans to make monoliths more interesting? I can't go into specific details here, but broad strokes, I can talk about it conceptually, and I think that's all you really need. To like need to have this conversation properly. And so, like, broadly speaking, having the monoliths are missing unexpected content. And so what I mean by that is when you start a monolith, if you're a very experienced player right now, if you've done 100,000 monolith echo runs, and you start an echo, you can probably tell 99% of what's going to happen in that echo right from the start, just because you've done so many of them. And like, maybe a piece of gear drops that you didn't know was going to drop, or maybe there's like some encounter combination of like mods on a difficult enemy that are cool, something like that. But like where you run, what like your goals are, how it's going to go down, how long it's even going to take, all of that is pretty static, and you can basically just say like, okay, it starts, here's the information that's presented to me immediately, okay, the quest objective's over there, and it's going to be this, and it's going to take this much to kill, and done, you know. And there's not really a there's no surprise factor. There's nothing that says like, oh hey, if you explored a little bit, maybe there was some cool event that happened, or and like the basic example I give of this is just sort of like a conceptual example, is just like a treasure goblin mechanic that I think is a pretty ubiquitous term now that a lot of people just understand. But I don't really need to explain it much, but I'm going to just in case. The treasure goblin is basically a small enemy that once you engage, it runs away from you and tries to escape. If you kill it before it escapes, it drops a whole bunch of loot. So there's an implied quest in that the quest is kill this thing in this amount of time and you'll get a reward. You know, there's no actual quest that shows up, but it's an event. It's a small mechanical thing that happens that you need to make the decision. Do I have the time, resources, power, ability to track this down and attempt to kill it, or do I just ignore it and let it go, type thing. And that type of decision making doesn't really happen at all, that much right now, and that type of like surprise that can come from interacting with a mechanic that is not set in stone, that's not guaranteed, is missing. So I think that's the style of mechanic that needs to exist, and we do have an idea for something like that, to come in and help monoliths. We have several ideas for things we'd like to do for that, and there's one that is going to happen first, and will not be the last either. And this is like other good examples of this are just like, you can look at PoE and there's tons of examples of things like this all over the place. Like an easy one, you're in the middle of a map and there's a map device that opens up a new map that you can do like a sub map, you know. And there's a dozen other examples, but things like that are the major things that I think specifically a lot of PoE players are really missing, are really like being like, where is this? Even things like Diablo 3 had this too. So it's like little things where it's Diablo 3, there's like little events, you like touch a cursed shrine, and you have like I guess this didn't really happen in Rifts, did it? Yeah, the cursed chest and the cursed shrines. I think those types of events are really cool, and I think you can put those in if there's not if you're not under a time crunch, because the thing about Rifts is you're under a time crunch to complete them. If you're not in a time crunch situation, things like that are great. I hope that answered your question. Hey, are there plans for challenge leagues with rewards like PoE does them? If so, please include separate challenges for SSF and maybe just recolor the rewards. Yeah, like we do have plans to have rewards for things like that. That probably won't be a 1.0 feature though. Are there any news about the can't empty a hotbar slot bug introduced in 0.9? No, that's an extremely low. Love this. That's I would call a low impact bug. There goes one of the dungeon bosses. You haven't seen that or not? You also can remove a seal from the bar there. It's kind of a pain, and you'd be like, "Fine, technically you're right, Mike. That doesn't count." And yeah, it doesn't count really because it is still bugs. You can't do this, which is unfortunate. The way to do it is to put an ability on your bar that is unlocked through a passive grid, respec your passes below that line, the ability disappears, and it will disappear off your bar. Technically possible. Haha. It concerns me that you aren't playing new Masters on stream. Need Warlock gameplay. Well, it would be pretty boring right now. Because it would just be an acolyte with no mastery. Is there any plans to make respecking harder for 1.0 after launch? No. Do you want there to be? What is your personal favorite unique right now? Oh, that's a hard question. Probably the meteor cast on crit belt, I think. I just love that so much. My buddy is playing a Fireball Meteor Sork right now, and he found that belt very recently. I guess it was a few weeks ago now, actually. But when he found the belt, he was extremely excited. And he sent me a little clip of him playing with it. It's pretty sweet. What sort of rogue is your favorite and why? Currently, Marksman's my favorite rogue. I'm just a sucker for that type of character in general. Like, even games that aren't quite directly like this, like if you ever played like Gauntlet Legacy, or Gauntlet Legends, the most recent one, probably like 10 years ago now. Probably not the most recent one anymore. The most recent one in my mind. Don't you know it's in my mind? Like even games like Gauntlet, which aren't quite ARPGs, I would play like rogue if I could. I just like that type of character. Big fan. The only reason I didn't play more Boson in D2 is because it wasn't that great for huge chunks of D2's life. It was great for quite a long time. And oh, did I play a lot of it then. I guess why do I like the one in Last Epoch though? I mean, it hits all the same notes. It's the agility. It feels very active to me, where your personal positioning matters a lot. Like trying to keep things away from you physically as a defensive layer, being able to shoot at quite a good range, usually having a pretty high damage to defense ratio. You know, that type of stuff. That's just the gameplay I like. Alright, can we get a cosmetic item that shows to other players that we have Deathless and Softcore? I mean, that is cool. I think I'd rather that be just like like if we add inspection to just be a thing that people can inspect, or like a little like badge in your like portrait or something like that, you know. But something on your character that only activates if you're playing a Deathless character, that would be tricky to do. not impossible though. I mean, yeah, we're gonna do this, right? Is teleport into Glacier. Great damage output. What's my favorite Zelda game? / what was the first one you played? Technically, the first Zelda game I ever played was The Legend of Zelda. However, I was like 5 and don't remember it at all from that time period. Have since gone back to play it, but you know, like we had no idea what we were doing and we never got anywhere with it. It was my friend had it. I didn't have it. The first one that I like remember that like got me hooked on it was A Link to the Past, and that was the first one I owned. So I'm gonna say that was my first Zelda game. Was Link to the Past, and my favorite Zelda game is an unbelievable difficult question for me to answer, and I really hope it changes in a month, or what is it, like 18 days? I don't know. How close are we? I really hope it changes soon. But I don't know. Realistically, it's probably Ocarina of Time. It's just it sits in the exact right point in my childhood, you know. I still have my original Ocarina of Time cartridge. Oh, I'm gonna die. I swear it's over here. It was over here. Oh no, where's my Ocarina of Time cartridge? Oh, there it is. Haha! I do not have an N64, but I still have my original Ocarina of Time cartridge. I don't know if it works anymore. So I'll say that's my favorite. Majora's Mask, Breath of the Wild, and Link to the Past, all very close runner-ups. Alright, back to what we're actually supposed to be here talking about. Unless I'm missing something, are there any plans to allow an option, at least, with the same mouse button? We can move and cast a skill like the L2? Yes, it's already in the game. You'll notice that there are 2 move buttons here by default. So left click is just move by default. If some builds, we realized pretty early on, especially minion builds, like Acolyte and Necromancer minion builds, would sometimes be in a situation where they just like couldn't break barrels or like destroy objects at all, even if they wanted to. They'd have to like switch out an ability and lose all their minions, and it was terrible. And this actually was a big problem when we had the primary method of getting gear in the arena. This is really early on. This is like 2018. The primary method of getting gear was in the arena, and it was by breaking barrels at the end of each wave. And so there was people that were just like, oh, I have to kill half my army in between every 5 waves in order to get the gear from this. It was awful. So we added that. And then we did get a fairly large number of people wanting to be able to have left click be move or attack, context based on whatever you're mousing over. But not wanting to add a 6th skill slot to the bar for just those people that are playing with it like that, because that's a pretty significant advantage, really, having a 6th skill slot on the bar. And we do really want to have move only on left click be an option. And if you could add a 6 skills to your bar, move only on left click isn't really an option if you can add a 6 skill. Like everyone will take the 6 skill no matter what. There's always a 6 skill that's good to take. So what this does is this will let you activate one of your other skill slots on left click. So it takes that skill. And I had the icons populating here, but something I guess went wrong and they're not populating properly. But so what we can do is we can put like here, like the melee attacks are good to use for it. You can't see it, but I am meleeing. I'm just left clicking. My other, you know, like we're not doing that at all. Ah. Free Glacier! It sounds like he's gonna say Hadouken and then just like stops partway through. That's what it sounds like to me anyways. Alright, I'm not sure if this is being addressed, but the side quest destroying the siege camp can't be completed. Not sure if this is intended. Like it's never mind. It is not intended that a quest cannot be completed. Does higher tier armor give more gambling choices? I believe it gives higher level things that can come out of it. So like there's certain items that can't come out of the low tier ones, and I think you get more shards to gamble with in the higher tier ones, and it should tell you when you're opening it what the different tiers give you. Like there's a tooltip on the tiers when you're opening it. I think it tells you right there. But it does increase the reward at higher tiers, so it is worthwhile doing at higher tiers if you can. Free Glacier! Ding, level up, ding, level up. Alrighty then. Did you play Cyberpunk 2077? I did. I played. I played like at launch. I played for probably like a weekend, maybe a week. So I didn't play a ton. Got pretty far. Stumbled into. I thought I had a ton of fun. I didn't experience any of the bugs everyone else was experiencing, so I had this really weird experience where I was like playing and everyone's like really upset about it. I'm like, I don't know, it seems fine, right? But I did stumble into a crafting loop that gave me infinite money, and I'm like, well, this is boring now. Hey, hope you are well today. I am well today. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Since we have a lightning meteor set item, are we gonna get a cold or void damage meteor? Ooh, that would be cool, wouldn't it? I think cold meteor would be called comet probably, and it might be like even like a different ability. That's what I would probably do. I think it's important that not every ability is convertible to every element, even if it's themed for that class. Like cold is super duper a theme for Sork, and there are one thing that themes void. I don't know if we'd ever convert it or not. Maybe. I would say there will not be a cold or void meteor at 1.0. I'll tell you that much. How do you see upon adding achievements to the game that grant like title skins a special place for 100,000 achievement point heroes? Yeah, there's achievements are one of those things that we're gonna add it to the game. Cool things, challenges to unlock. They're really good for signposting things that are good to do. So you can say like. So someone might look at or like get an achievement for. It's really easy to tell a player they're doing something good and to encourage them to keep doing that with an achievement. You know, so you can do something like you can do really basic achievements. There's tons of different types of things you can do with achievements, but one of the things that I really like about it is being able to reinforce behavior through achievements that help tutorialize game systems. So maybe when you're crafting, there's an achievement for upgrade an item from magic to rare. You know, like achievement. And just be like, hey, you did something good, you crafted, that was good, keep crafting. And it's like, I know when I use the term reinforcing behavior, it sounds like it's really nefarious or whatever, but like just being like, good job, you crafted something, craft more stuff, like that's what I'm talking about. And then there's also like, you can use achievements to say like good, like congratulations for completing something that is noteworthy in the game, like complete chapter 4, complete chapter 5, you know, basic stuff. And I think things like that help to signpost progress really nicely. So it's like it helps put pacing on the campaign, which is something I think the campaign's sorely missing right now. Which I think would better be served coming from things like cutscenes. That's what I'm trying to say. Having cutscenes available in between different chapters, I think, would be more effective at doing that. And there's also achievements for indicating things you've done to other players as well. So you can have like achievements tied to titles, tied to achievements, where it's like someone walks in and it's like, like the Vanquisher, and you're like, oh, what does Vanquisher mean? You like click on him, and it like says like, oh, Vanquisher title is given for completing the final boss of the game. And then you can be like, oh, I don't have that title, I guess I haven't beaten the final boss of the game yet. You know, stuff like that. And I think there's good stuff there too. So we'll be looking at exactly how we want to do it and everything, but yeah, achievements will be part of the game at some point. Are there any plans on being able to respec masteries in the future? There are no plans for it at the moment, no. Are there plans to make in-game progress like Monolith's account wide? No, there's no plans for that. There's a big problem with that. And if you just say like the entire Monolith of Fate progression is account wide, great. And you start your first character, you play through, and you complete all the monoliths, you unlock empowered on all of them, and you go through and you're playing empowered on them, and you're getting the corruption. You got corruption 400 on every single timeline, and you're like, wow, this character is awesome. I'm gonna make a second one. And you start playing through the monolith, or you start playing through the campaign, and you get to the monolith, and you walk in at level 30 into the monolith, because that's where you first have access to it in the storyline, or 24, or whatever level you are, and you just get your butt handed to you. And it's awful. And there's this moment of like, okay, like you're able to access content that you shouldn't be doing at all, and it sucks. It's frustrating, and you know, like it's no fun. And so you go back to the game, and you go through properly, and you do your normal like you finish the campaign, and you do your normal monoliths, and you get to empowered monoliths, and suddenly the jump from normal monoliths to empowered monoliths is 10 times bigger, because you're having to, instead of going at 50 corruption, you're at 400 corruption. And suddenly this character has literally nothing it can do in the monolith to progress. It has to either farm a weird amount of the level 90 monoliths, or it has to do dungeons, you know, like, or it has to get help from someone. And there's a couple situations like this you can get into that are really problematic if the monolith is fully shared. Now there's ways you can change the monolith to account for that and have it not be as big of a problem. If we do some of those things to help reduce the problem that something like this would cause, it's something that we might look at doing, or having a way for like more catch-up mechanics. So we had a similar problem with just single character. You're playing through one monolith empowered. It's really, oh, thanks, Kane. I'm gonna finish this thought and then I'll do that. They're like, you're playing through a single monolith, you get to empowered. It's like you get 600 corruption, and then you go to the next one and it's back to square one, starting over, and you're like, not getting any good upgrades because the corruption's way too small, it's way too easy, and you're spending forever just getting the corruption back up, and it's so frustrating because you're just doing nothing. And so this is why we added the catch-up corruption, like the bonus corruption catch-up mechanic that exists now, where it'll push ahead relative to your highest corruption completed that you have available right now. And so that's a different problem with a different solution, but like there's sometimes that was definitely a non-intuitive solution for me personally, and that's a nice little one. So there might be room in there for similar solutions. Oh, there's a little bug. If you're at negative, oh dang it. Okay, if you're at negative mana, let's get to really negative mana, and you, oh, I guess you have to do it by teleporting. So if you teleport to get to negative mana, you can't use your free spell cast until you get to positive mana. Found one. Okay. You know, it's perfect. I died. You know what that means? I died. I owe you guys a spoiler. That's what the game was saying to do. Here is a little image for a new enemy coming up. That's totally normal and not creepy in any way. Will there be any way to convert a Mana Strike into Cold or Fire someday? Maybe. Like, ever's a long time. Daily quest, daily dungeon, or daily monolith. Any thoughts? I like having rotating rewards, like daily rotating rewards that happen, where like, so we do this in the dungeons already, where it'll be like you get bonus, you get like this one drops more gloves today, and the next day it drops boots, you know, that sort of thing, and I think I like that. I'm not a big fan personally of come back every day to complete this, like weekly raid lockouts in WoW, or daily quests where it's like you know, log in every day to complete your daily quest for this special big bonus and that sort of stuff. I'm not a huge fan of systems like that. So we'll see what happens, but I would, if I had to pick one, monthly, you know? That's not too much to ask. I don't think. Oh, sorry, it's a daily quest, daily dungeon, daily monster. Monthly wasn't even an option there. Alright, would a true acolyte, mage, etc. mastery... would a true acolyte, mage, etc. mastery, it does not spec into any mastery, get a baby version of all mastery bonuses? Oh, like a yeah, okay, I see what you're saying. So a non-mastered, just a base class only version, get some sort of version of all mastery bonuses and only access to half the tree. PoE Scion, a concept open for the future. Maybe the thing is that when we're designing classes and skills and things like that, we're looking at it more along the lines of there's 15 classes in the game, not there's 5 classes with 3 masteries each. So maybe I'd say that's probably a pretty far off concept. I'd say chances are before that happens, there will be 4 masteries for every class. Every base class. J9297, thank you very much for subbing. Appreciate it. Glad to have you with us. Hope you're having fun. Curious, why is Lagan the only god to be associated with generic idols? Yeah, this is a great question. It came up when we were making them, and I do not remember. All the others are class specific, aside from Eterra, who we have no real interaction with as of yet. You'll get this one that's moving around. I don't know. I can't remember. I'd like to do another lore stream soon. I'll see if Kyle's available to get back on. We did one a little while ago, and I think it was pretty successful. He just sneaked right past me. Little sneaky sneakerson. Tickle fight. Got him. Got him. Yeah. Yeah. Crit. I feel like we want lots of crit, don't we? There, we can cast it in. Love the game. You guys do great work. Thank you. I appreciate that. It's nice to hear. Any chances for additional dynamic skill icons? For example, volcanic orb icon changes to an icy orb. If I convert it to cold, be awesome for class fantasy field overall UI. I know I already have dynamic ones for combo skills things. Yeah, so the we've talked about this quite a bit actually, and we pretty specifically decided against it. Those are nice boots, babe. And most of that comes from like recognizability of the skill icons themselves. It's a tough one. I'd say probably not, but maybe someday. Oh, had a little scuff teleport there. Tried to cut the corner too hard. Oh, come on. Not quite sure how we survived that. I opened a portal in the middle of it. There's that fat finger going. Ooh. Ooh, nice leather-bound tome. Yeah, let's do a little crafty on this. We want void res. Void res, there it is. Let's get some lightning elemental damage. Yeah. Oh. We'll take it. Vitality, intelligence. My kind of base. You know what? We're just gonna go health, actually. Go do those loads. Oh, Doritos! Welcome, everyone coming in from that stream too. Little raiding party happening. Not that little, actually. Glad to have you with us. Slip through that. Alright, more questions. Any chance for additional... Oh, we're getting late in the stream. Oh. Okay. I gotta answer questions faster, don't I? Any chance for additional dynamic skill... Oh, I already answered that. Any plan on having a crafting material combination like adding A with B makes blank? Having 10,000 shards would be nice to cycle them in a meaningful way rather than collect dust. We do have plans for allowing you to basically hand in... to convert shards from one to another at a loss. To deal with that. So when are you designing a new mastery? Where do you start? Abilities, gameplay, class feel, fantasy passives. What's your first stand up on that look like? Great question. I think it depends on the class. We've done it differently for each mastery, and usually it starts with an overall fantasy, an overall like a play style and fantasy theming discussion. So like Let's design the marksman, you know, like let's design the marksman class for the master class for the rogue. And we go, okay, we're gonna have a ranged dexterity based class. It's gonna be very agile. It's gonna attack very quickly. It's probably gonna rely on like combos and long range, high damage. Either it can be like hit, crit. It'll be able to apply dots. You know, like that sort of stuff. We're gonna look at the elements. Okay, let's focus on. It's primarily going to be physical, or maybe poison. Maybe there's some fire in there. You know, like bits and pieces here and there, sort of thing. And then like, okay, let's like, what are some signpost skills? What are some key skills that are coming from that? Okay, it's probably going to be something where you're firing a lot of arrows simultaneously. Like where does that fantasy come from? What are some touchstone characters in other media that you can look at for that fantasy? Like, are we looking at big, heavy armored archers that are like sitting atop castle walls, or are we talking like Robin Hood, like running through the woods and stuff like that? Like firing a bunch of arrows simultaneously, splitting an arrow, it's in the target already because you're so accurate, things like that. Oh, that sounds better. Let's focus more on that type of thing. And I guess that's kind of how it starts. It's a lot on theming. Another witty name tag has subbed. Cool, I like that actually. Thank you. Welcome. Stay around. Have fun. But don't listen to me, I'm just talking gibberish. I like the lore, and I think there's a lot of potential to expand on it. Will there be more places to explore in Last Epoch, like new continent and greater dormant dangers, similar to what Game of Thrones and even PoE has? I would say there's lots of time to explore still on the continent we already have. But once that's been explored a little more, I wouldn't be surprised if there was more stuff added in. Empowered unlocks could be account wide, but corruption would be character bound. Yeah, and then we get into like why. You know, there's expectations there. Part of it is unlocked, but part of it isn't. That's kind of unintuitive and confusing. And that's a whole other kettle of fish we're gonna deal with. I think there's better ways to accomplish what you're trying to accomplish. Do you think adding more skill upgrades that do a partial damage conversion instead of a cull conversion will happening? Do you think adding more skill upgrade that do a partial damage conversion instead of a cull conversion will happen? Probably not much, if any. Those are both extremely rare things. Oh, cull is full. Full conversion. I would say full conversions seem to be more popular, and I'd say they're more likely to happen with, but not exclusively. Sorry. Call it being a mechanic is what threw me there. Because I have some issues with my arms, is there plans to make controller support better? Yes. Yeah, controller support's been consistently improving since we've introduced it a few years ago. Love the game, thank you. Probably the most time I've spent on any early access title. I mean, it's been early access for a long time, but that's on us. Even more than that, the AAA titles I've bought in the last year. You guys are great. Thank you very much. I'm glad you're having fun. That's what it's all about. People having fun playing our game. You know, like That's what it's all about. Hokey pokey ain't got squat. Can I take one of these? Can I just stun them? Not need to take one? Apparently. Alright. Next question. Don't forget about flame board. Yeah, I do. Any specific buffs incoming or being talked about? Lots of them! Nothing I can share, sorry. No, we don't usually talk about balance changes and buffs and things like that until we get closer to a patch date. So we're not at the balancing stage yet. $1 million question. When do we get new Lethal Mirage icon to design team? Yeah. I don't think it's on the list. Any plans on being able to apply your loot filter to vendor stashes? Not that I know of. Applying loot filter in general to stashes is problematic at best. Like like applying loot filters, as soon as you see a grid like this, applying a loot filter to items in that grid is problematic. Any word on when the new Reaper animation model will be added? Waiting for that to dive into the class. Next major patch, not non-hotfix patch. I'm trying to get through these. I'm sorry, I'm probably so far behind. With the gun seemingly being a sore spot in terms of interaction with the game design or many skills, particularly, is the hope for his tuning to maintain the wall boss god fighting fantasy, or would more total overhaul be likely? I think the plan is to fix what is there, not to change it into something new. Part of the thing is, like, Ligon is so huge that having him come and fight you in the physical, in the same play space that you're sitting in would not be feasible, and would be more comical than anything. So you're like putting this such a massive thing there that it's like, okay, why didn't you just die when he stepped on you there? Because he's just that big, you know? And he doesn't like to leave the water either. Do you plan on adding some scaling on implicits of low-level common items in endgame? Nope. Are we getting more uniques with 1.0? We get new uniques every patch, so yeah. Is a similar position with controller support. In a similar position with controller support, is there a plan for on the map having a button press with similar functionality to right mouse click to immediately travel to the location? It's frustrating sometimes using the joystick and mouse having to select travel below. I haven't heard of any specific controller changes coming. I'm sure someone has talked about something with controller support in general. If you've got specific suggestions or requests for controller support or anything else, please head on over to the forums and leave a post there, as I do not write anything down from the streams of suggestions that come in at all. Alright, what about smart stash sort and search that works for all tabs? It's kind of annoying to go one by one. Yeah, the tabs, when you open up the larger view, I'm not at the tabs, when you open up the larger view, it does filter which tabs have anything in it, so you do kind of get that a little bit, but it's not complete. Having sort of a pseudo regex access in the search there, I think would be very advantageous. But it wouldn't be just like search for everything that fits this loot filter option, you know? That was weird. No man. Not good. What was I gonna say? Yeah, I would say adding more stuff to the search and sort in the stash is coming, but it'll be slow. Ooh. Yes, please. What? Yes, please. Strength is useless, but we take those. Are there plans to add more uniques and set items? Yes. Did you hear the rumor that your game is way better than D4? I've heard some people saying that. I think there's a lot of things that D4 does really well. But you know, I I love that we're in the conversation of like when talking about just great ARPGs in the market right now. That like we get consistently brought up as part of that conversation, and like as like a serious part of that conversation of it's just so cool. So cool. Any plans / ideas for community design content or something like that? For example, uniques, affixes, NPCs, etc. Yeah. So there is. We have in our Kickstarter we had certain tiers where people would be able to contribute specific designs of things, and we've done quite a few of those. There was also a
Farewell.
like a design poll that we had for making a community unique item. That's the what's it called? It's a spear. It's a big spear. The Rat City spear. And slight correction, there was an Easter egg video that went out recently. Hey, Quiet. Yeah, welcome to the stream. Just catching the end of it here. There was an Easter egg video that went out recently. I think it was Perry, and he was talking about that item in the video. So you can go check Perry the Pig's YouTube channel for more details about that specific thing. But it was talking like there's like the quote at the bottom mentioning Rat City, talking about a hotel, and it was actually an Airbnb, not a hotel. Close enough, though, I guess. Mike, please, for all that is good, press W once in a while. Your HP gets so low. Yeah, I just like to have that suspense. I'm also very distracted, not very good at this, so you know. I'm guessing that this was already answered. Maybe it's okay. And asked, but there's no. Is there no plan? And asked, there is no plan on a different way to level up alt right. Yes. Blizzard is just a small indie game dev company run by Joe Blizzard. Doesn't seem right to me. I thought it was Josh Blizzard. Nah, it doesn't matter. Oh my gosh, I'm not that far back. I just saw the rating party. Oh my goodness, I'm basically caught up. Oh, I'm so awesome. Yeah, I'm awesome. Answering questions. Take that, questions. Alright. When will Bear the Pig get a unique in the game? I feel he deserves one. I don't know. I don't think we've talked about that with him at all. I'd love to add more like that, and he does do quite a lot of awesome content on Epoch, so I do agree there. It is really difficult, and I know we've already done one recently for this. It's quite a bit of work and time and effort to get one of those community ones in. It's way faster to not. because we can kind of just have. There's a few of us that are like design and development, quite a few of us actually, and so like in some cases, a lot of unique, someone's just been like, I'm putting one in, and just like you do it, you make it, you put it in, it's there, all of it's done, and then you get feedback and tweaks and you change things here and there, but like one person can hammer one out way faster than a team of like 7 people talking about it. But I do agree. Have you talked about adding new or completely reworking spells, skills to existing masteries? Yeah. Yeah. There's a... Here's something. Here's a little leak for you. Write this down. One of the 3 new masteries is actually going to be getting a revamped version of an existing skill as one of their mastery abilities. And yeah, like there'll be other, where it's coming from will have something else put in its place. My only question that matters: spring and 4 movement skill when? Did that not go in? Like I obviously by the question it didn't go in. Sorry, quiet. I thought that was already in. Tempest Strike Falconer. No, it's not. No, like. One of the abilities somewhere else on that class in general, like for example, like one of the either Spellblade, Sorcerer, or Mage abilities is going to be on Rune Master. For example, I'm not saying it's specifically that one. It could be one of the other 2 as well. I need more cast speed. Yeah, I need more cast speed. Oh, you know what? I got to the end before, and I probably should actually put this up. Okay, this is... I'm going to position myself right there. Wow. Pretty. Yeah, so here's another concept art, splash art, whatever you want to call it. I want to get a bit, because there's been a lot of these that are really awesome lately. I want to get some high-res versions of these posted up, because this image is ginormous. And this is crazy scaled down right now. So if you got a big mega widescreen desktop, fit real nice on it. Yeah, just a nice little scene. Just pretty. Fishing minigame when? I mean, we've joked about like a beekeeping minigame a lot on streams and just talking in various places. I think that there is room for some sort of minigame activity akin to fishing that would fit really nicely. It's not a core mechanic and gameplay system, so I don't think something like that will probably appear at 1.0, but rather likely be like a mechanic that shows up in some expansion in some cycle that we're you know, once we're like really in the groove of releasing cycles and all that sort of stuff, having something like some content like that, I think would be really fun and nice to add in. Hot damn! Can I get a 1070p version of that for wallpaper purposes. Love the splash art. We'll try and get some shareable versions of these out, because I've got a few of these recently that I'd really like to get shareable. Maybe we do some sort of, like, I don't know, forum post or something that just has a lot of these in there. Hint, hint to whoever makes forum posts. It's definitely not listening right now. Huh? Oh, Shredrick! Thank you for subbing. That's funny. There's a Rick that I know that is very shredded. I don't think you're the same person, but maybe. That'd be cool. Hi, Rick. Just in case. See you next Friday. All right. I know. At the beginning, we joined. Oh, Rob! Hey! Didn't even notice who was asking. How's it going, bud? Yes, you definitely were. Aaron, you were asking about people in that picture? There's one of them. Still waiting for the secret B level. Me too, I think it'd be tons of fun. But, like, you know, finger on the monkey's paw curls, and instead of it being insects, they're just like giant, like, letter beads. Like, you know, some uppercase, some lowercase, floating around. And the final boss is, it's a spelling bee. You actually have to, like, whisper this character answers to spelling. She'll, like, say it out loud, and you gotta, like, type in the correct answer. That's how you beat the boss. Yeah, perfect. Last Epoch art book. Oh yes, please. After last patch, is Manifest Armor able to utilize all our most unique gear effects when it copies our gear? No. I would say a decent amount of more standard effects, but most of the more complex ones are non-functional. On the topic of wallpapers, I would like a 32x9 official wallpaper themed around Hirot and Rye. Who do I pay? I mean, just put it in the response to that hypothetical thread that I've been talking about. That's going to come up eventually, hopefully. Any leaks on that new glyph? No. I mean, I kind of talked about it earlier this stream in a roundabout way. Which is not going to tell you much. I actually talked about it in a pretty direct way at one point. Are the secret zones not on the current online version of the game yet? I know I found a new one in Temple of Hirot, but cannot go in online. So curious if it was added in yet or not. I don't think so. I think there was some problem with some of the secret zones that I forgot about, and you just reminded me. But I think there's kind of a draw to, like, hold back on too many of, like, the actual, like, secrets that will have cool stuff to do and things to explore until 1.0 actually drops. So it's less of a, like, I'd like to avoid the situation where 1.0 drops and a whole bunch of people flood in. They're like, oh, I found the secret. And, like, all the people who've been here in the early access are just like, oh, yeah, we know about that secret. No big deal. I'd rather it kind of be 1.0 drops and there's, like, new secrets for everyone to find. The little time period between when Fractured Crown was released and when it was discovered, I say a little bit of time, it was like a year. But and then again when we changed how to get it, and there was like that was a little bit of time. That was like a week or something at most between when because we changed the whole crafting system, and Fracture Trend suddenly the way you got it before didn't make any sense with the new crafting system, and there was like a good chunk of time where no one knew how to get it, and like that was so cool, where people were like, they knew there was something to get but didn't know how to get it and trying to explore and figure it out, and there was like people working together to figure it out. That was so cool, and like it ultimately got, I think someone got really close, and then someone basically just data mined it and figured it out. But like that was a really awesome thing to happen, and I'd love to see new secrets being explored at launch, and stuff like that. I think that would be thrilling for me, like sitting in streams and having someone find it. Yeah, that'd be awesome. Final boss is an ASCII art of a bee. Yeah, exactly. Or it's ASCII art made up of bees that goes into different forms to do different attacks. Like it forms into like a mage and shoots a bee fireball at you. Oh, look at the time. Oh, we're past. Okay, I'm gonna just finish up a couple questions here, and then I'm going to head on out because we're over time actually. Do you guys have some predictions about the fizz on the passive iron reflexes for Sentinel? I don't. I'm sorry, I don't know what the fizz is. Or what that passive does off the top of my head. Are we able to get pets that collect loot? No. Tell CM I want my money back. Okay. I bought it, spent 140 hours on the game before I realized that the game is monotonous, and then all the maps are one and the same style. Well, sorry you're not happy with it. Speaking of bees, does Manifest Armor utilize Keeper's Gloves? I don't know. Test it. That's an easy one to get. And he's talking having achievements in the game? Yes. But not like, oh, you launched the game as an achievement. The most recent Deadpool game, I mean, most recent is, there might be a newer one, but a few years ago there was a Deadpool game that came out. Fantastic achievements for things like that. It was like, at the very start of the game, you're like sitting on the couch, it's like, stand up, get an achievement. And he comments like, oh, it's gonna be that sort of game, is it? Fantastic moment right at the start. Anyways, we're heading out. Already set Master Sword, 1291, right under the bell. Resub for 24 months in a row. That's a 2-year mark as well. I think 2 years. I think this is our start of 2-year ones, and I think those are the first ones. I don't know, there might be other ones, but that's super cool. Thank you so much for being with us for 2 full years. There's 2 that I've seen now, Dahariel and Master Sword. So cool. Appreciate you guys. All right. Well, that'll just about do it for me here. I hope you had fun. I know I did. Hanging out, playing, starting to level Sork. I'm gonna get this Sork a little bit further along, possibly to end game, so we can play a little more. I think I'm looking at Lightning Meteor. I think that's what we're doing here. We'll see though. Oh, be nice, guys. Oh, be nice. Alright. Thank you very much. Had a ton of fun. See you guys later. Oh yeah, if I didn't answer your questions and you'd like more answered, please head on over to our Discord, our forums, Reddit. There's lots of places we're answering questions all the time. There's lots of people that are able to answer questions in our community as well. Yeah, hope to see you next week. Have fun. See you later. Bye-bye.